And welcome back to the Country Critics once again. As always, I'm Garth, and that guy's Chris. And this is Throwback Thursday. And not the Throwback Thursday we were planning on doing this week. We had one actually done and recorded for this week, and I've actually pushed that to next week. And we've changed up what we're doing for this week with the news of Joe Diffie's passing a couple days ago. We thought it would be appropriate to do a bit of a memorial to Joe Diffie here on Throwback Thursday this week. So what we've done is we've both picked out our favorite Joe Diffie song. We're going to play that and react to it, talk about that a little bit, and we're just going to talk about Joe Diffie and what his music meant to us and that kind of thing. So without further ado, we're going to start off with Chris's pick for a song today. I don't know what this song is. I told him not to tell me what it is, and I didn't tell him what my song is. We're just going to react to it as it plays. So, Chris, go ahead and hit your song for today.
All right, here we go.
That sounds like Joe Diffie.
Yeah, that's a great commercial. All right, here we go, folks.
Good choice. Alright, that was Chris's pick for a Joe Diffie song, A New Way to Light Up an Old Flame. And I gotta say, good pick. Not one I expected, but definitely a good pick there. I honestly, I had forgotten about that song until a couple days ago, after we had heard the news of Joe's passing. I started listening back to some of his songs, and that's one that I listened to that I had forgotten about, and I was like, damn, this is a good song.
It is. It's solid.
It really is. And he had a lot of those. There's a lot of songs. Like, there was probably, before I went back and listened through his stuff over the past couple days, there was probably only like 3, maybe 4 Joe Diffie songs I could think of off the top of my head. And I went back and listened through to these. Essentially what I did was I just downloaded the Joe Diffie Essentials playlist on Apple Music and just listened through that. There was a lot of songs on there that I had forgotten about that I really liked, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, I went straight away with this one. Of course, he was really well known for I guess you could call them kind of the novelty country songs, like Third Rock from the Sun. It's upbeat, it's catchy, it's got, a story unlike anything else. But in that same vein of Home, New Way to Light Up an Old Flame, which in fact Joe Diffie co-wrote that song, New Way to Light Up an Old Flame. And that was one that I really wanted to find of his that I really enjoyed, was something that he put not just the vocals to, but he wrote. He put a lot more heart and soul into it than just recording someone else's words. So there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah. And I think another one that came to mind, and it was really a lot later in his career, but still 15 years ago, looking back from 2019, 2020, and that was Moving Train from the album Tougher Than Nails from 2004.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that album, it had its moments of merit.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a lot of, he'd kind of gone back to more the traditional country style, like New Way to Light Up an Old Flame, or, they're escaping me at the moment, of course. They always do when you're focused on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't the novelty style of Pickup Man or Third Rock from the Sun. Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox is another classic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And man, could the guy, let's just get this out there right now, can the guy sport a mullet or what?
Oh, yeah. I was disappointed when he lost the mullet in recent years. That was...
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I found a recent picture and no mullet.
Nope.
I was heartbroken.
Yep. Yeah, that was his look.
It was like Tulsa came to town right there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we've got to make it a point. It doesn't matter what song you really enjoy. The guy's got a mullet that everyone should be jealous of.
Oh yeah, one of the few people I've ever seen that can legit pull off a mullet and actually make it look good.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people do a mullet and it does, like Morgan Wallen. I like Morgan Wallen, don't get me wrong, but I don't really think he can pull off the mullet as well as he thinks he can.
You know, there's something to be said for a man that can wear a shirt and tie, like Joe Diffie, and sport a mullet.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't look like the stereotypical mullet man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for a lot of years throughout the 90s, he was the mullet man.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And he pulled it off very successfully. So let's get to your track. Surprise me with what you picked out from the Joe Diffie catalog.
Okay, I am going to surprise you. Go ahead and hit that link, and we'll see what I picked out.
Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun. She walks in the smoke, he's one hip at a time, like a broken field runner, slipping through the line. He likes her when she looks, sometimes away with teenagers in it. He driver tells his buddies, and I'm one like to live. You're spinning round, things coming down. Man says use your head, he ain't in his car. Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun. Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun.
Alright, that was my pick for a Joe Diffie song, Third Rock from the Sun, and that's a country song if I ever heard one. You talk
And
about...
you didn't surprise me with that.
No?
No, I can see you going for that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you talk about songs that can paint a picture and tell a story. That's a story. That's like a mini movie all in like 3 minutes. Everything that goes on in that song, it's just fantastic.
That song was made for CMT.
Oh, 100%.
And GAC, the music video channels. That song is perfect from that era of the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
That was, 94, I think?
Was CMT a thing at that point yet?
If CMT wasn't, Great American Country was.
What did videos not become a thing until CMT and GAC, or how were videos distributed before then?
Videos before then, you had VH1 Goes Country.
Oh,
so back
okay.
when VH1 did music videos, they had probably about a 3-hour block each afternoon in the early 90s that they would do country.
Back before every TV station was just reality shows?
Yes. Well, to take you way back there, at the time VH1 Goes Country was on in the afternoons, MTV had already started doing The Real World.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're talking 1990.
Yeah, but that still hadn't taken over MTV yet. MTV still did a lot of music videos at that point.
Oh, yeah. You still had, you had Yo MTV Raps, you had Headbangers Ball, 120 Minutes, but at that same time you were also getting Beavis and Butthead, Daria, King of the Hill, Eon Flux, Liquid Television. That was the other kind of almost like an Adult Swim.
Okay.
It was ahead of its time, really, in the early 90s. Yeah, you had MTV's Liquid Television, and that's really where they started getting away from the music videos was about 90... Well, by 92, there was less and less videos.
Okay.
And then you had Total Request Live, or TRL as it became. They got away from doing MTV News with Kurt Loder. They got away from having VJs such as Downtown Julie Brown. A lot of hip hop artists were on Yo MTV Raps back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of hip hop hit mainstream in the late 80s. Headbangers Ball was heavy metal in the late nights. And 120 Minutes, of course, was a 2-hour block. I want to say that was Friday nights, I think. Friday nights from 11p to 1a.
Okay.
Headbangers Ball, I think, was Saturday nights from midnight to 2. That was back when cable channels they didn't have 24-hour programming, so they'd go to prepaid infomercials during the overnight hours.
Some of them still do that. I've noticed that on a few channels. Some of them still do that now. But yeah, so Third Rock from the Sun, yeah, they're just fantastic song. And personally, my favorite Joe Diffie song. But you really can't go wrong with a lot of these Joe Diffie songs. John Deere Green, Pickup Man, Ships That Don't Come In, Prop Me Up Beside the Jukebox. The other song I would have picked, if I had had a choice for a second song on this, would have been Bigger Than the Beatles. I love that song. Just the story told in that song, the way Joe delivers it. I've always thought that's a fantastic song. It's a different take on a love story. Like, you don't get love story songs like that very often. It's
not one of my favorites by Joe Diffie, but yeah, I do remember that one from that time frame. I think that was what, probably 95, 96-ish, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, I really like that first album of his, 1,000 Winding Roads. Shoot, I can see the album covers, but I don't have them all right in front of me. Life's So Funny was from 1995. Third Rock from the Sun was 94. Oh, Honky Tonk Attitude. There's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
that one to me Honky Tonk Attitude to me feels a lot like what Brooks and Dunn song am I thinking of? Is it Boot Scootin' Boogie? There's a Brooks and Dunn song that feels a lot like Honky Tonk Attitude, and I don't think it's Boot Scootin' Boogie.
It was that, that was at a time where a lot of stuff sounded just as distinctive as it did sound the same.
Yeah.
You listen to it and you're like, oh, I thought that was Joe Diffie. Oh no, that's this. And what really drove it home for me was they sound the same. When they started sounding the same, was a song that I thought was Sarah Evans and turned out to be Sugarland's first single.
Oh, yeah.
The one where she calls her parents about getting money to...
Yeah, Baby Girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a Sarah Evans track, and nope, somebody I'd never heard of.
Mm-hmm. And that's... We could have a whole video on Sugarland. That's one of my least favorite Sugarland songs. I never could get into Baby Girl. There's some Sugarland songs I like, but Baby Girl is not one of them.
Yeah, there's several that I don't really care for, even by by lots of artists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Love with a Capital U by Joe Diffie. I've never been too keen on that one,
mm-hmm.
but I did like a lot of the earlier stuff from 90 to 94.
Yeah,
and then sometimes it's just always worthwhile to dig through an artist's catalog, especially when you don't hear their name anymore, you don't hear that they're touring, or when they're really packing them in at a county fair, not a state fair, not an arena.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall if I saw Joe Diffie live or not. I don't think I did.
I wish.
But I've seen a lot of artists over the years.
I wish I had, especially now that he's gone and I can't see him anymore. I really wish. He's one that I really regret never being able to see live. That being one of my favorite artists of all time. I really wish I could have seen him at least once, and I never did.
Well, what I can't get over is he was not quite 20 years older than me. And I'm going, wow, I remember these songs from 28 years ago. Well, 1,000 Winding Roads came out in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Good grief, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, that was, I was going into my teenage years listening to that.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, just so everyone knows, I am rocking the neo-90s country movement today with my Hot Country Nights shirt.
So there you go. You're putting the T back into country.
Which I still can't figure out what exactly that's supposed to mean. I think that means T-shirt, but I'm not 100% sure what they mean by putting the T back in country. Might be a question for them. I don't know.
I was going to say, if you're putting it back into country, well, at least we know it's not the Ho Country Nights.
Well, I mean, it's true.
It's the Ho Country, Hot Country Nights. Yeah, at least we know where the T belongs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although
you might have to shoot them a message and say, I don't get it.
I think that might be the point, though. That seems like it falls right in line with their brand of humor.
Yeah, probably so.
All right, any final thoughts on Joe Diffie?
Yeah, I would just like to go on record as saying, because my opinion matters so much, that it's a darn shame that it takes an artist's passing for people to A, discover them, or B, rediscover them, and C, a general fault of the industry and radio together, that artists that release music later in their careers aren't receiving the attention they deserve. It's great that he was big from 90 to 96, but what about his albums from 2004, 2001? He was still recording, he was still touring, but if it doesn't make radio, he's just kind of thrown into the 99-cent bin right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well,
and it's just a darn shame for any artist, whether that's Rush in the 80s, where they're still having to play Tom Sawyer live at a concert, even though there's other different material they would love to play live. Crowds won't let them, radio won't play it. Or Joe Diffie, you didn't hear anything on regular radio.
Right.
You had to go digging for it, and it was in a pre-digital age where you couldn't just click the YouTubes and say, hey, who's put this up here?
Yeah.
Who's uploaded this track? I want to hear it.
Right. No, and you're right. I agree. And that's just kind of the industry as a whole. Unless you're somebody that makes it into super mega star status, you only get about 5 years in the spotlight, and then it kind of tails off. Unless you're somebody like George Strait, or somebody like that's the first one that came to mind. But unless you're somebody like George Strait, you get like 5 years, and then it just kind of tails off. And that's just how it goes. And is it right? No, but that's essentially how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I say, it's just a darn shame.
So that'll do it for our Joe Diffie tribute here on Throwback Thursday. May he rest in peace, and we will enjoy his music for years to come. I think we can both be in agreement that he is definitely one of the best country artists from the 90s, especially, if not, one of the best of all time. He definitely has some great music out there.
I guess just to turn a phrase, the pickup man is being propped up beside the jukebox.
Yes, he is. And at that,
always liked listening to Joe Diffie.
Yes, and that's the great thing, is we can still listen to Joe Diffie forever, because his music's always still out there, whether he's still with us or not.
And that mullet is right there waiting for us to see.
That's right. All right, so that has been Throwback Thursday for this week. Album review coming up on Saturday. An interesting album review for sure. I think for once we're actually going to agree on this album review on what our opinions are on this one, so that'll be interesting for this one. The new music reaction, as always, on Tuesday, and then Throwback Thursday, the one that was supposed to be for this week, that'll be next Thursday, as we've got 2 songs for that one as well, looking back at an older song and a newer song that pays homage to that one. You might even see these guys in that one as well, so keep an eye out for that. But at that, this has been Throwback Thursday. Make sure you subscribe, and you get that bell turned on for notifications so you know when we put out all of our videos here on The Country Critics. And share it with your friends, since the YouTube algorithm really likes that as well, and so they can be exposed to the great world of The Country Critics, and specifically Mr. Chris here. But
yeah, everyone needs to be exposed to me. Wait, no, that came out wrong.
Or did it? Maybe it came out right.
Or did it?
But at that, this has been Throwback Thursday for The Country Critics, our Joe Diffie tribute. As always, I'm Garth, and he's Chris, and we'll see you on Saturday for album review.
See you next time.